ॐ ॐ एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ ऐंकार ह्रींकार रहस्ययुक्त श्रींकार गुणार्थ ओंकार मर्म प्रतिपादिनीभ्यां नमो नमः। श्री गुरु पादुकाभ्याम्। उग्रं वीर्यं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युं नमाम्यहम्। ॐ ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। विद्यानां च मनूनां मनुसंख्यानां च विद्यानाम् उपदेष्टा जयति तरां श्री नरसिंहानन्दनाथ गुरुः श्री बासुरानन्दनाथ गुरुः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Happy to meet you all today in continuing class of Sri Vidya Upasana and Vedanta. This is a very new kind of mixture. Nothing new, but the approach, the interpretation, the view, the way of understanding are all new and different. Generally, what happens? I did my PhD, academic PhD in Department of Philosophy, Madurai Kamaraj University. By then I was a sannyasi. In 2004 I completed. 1990 onwards I looked like a sannyasi, and in the year 2000 I took proper sannyasa, Shaiva Diksha from Perur Shaiva Mat, Perur Adinam. And I did my PhD in value-based education in the Department of Philosophy, Madurai Kamaraj University. And I was awarded in 2004, October 24th. Why I am telling this? After getting the advanced levels of spirituality, this PhD seems to be not necessary. But why I am telling this? For your understanding, that when I was doing my PhD, there people used to see me as a Swami. When I come back to Mat, in the Mata, people used to see me as an academician, as a professor. In the university, people looked at me as a Swami, where I should be seen as a teacher and professor. But there they saw me as a Swamiji. And when I come back to ashram, temple, all people approached me as a professor. The contradictory. Like that, when we do Upasana, we don't think about Vedanta. Suppose, without doing upasana, if some people come to Vedanta directly, they think less of Sri Vidya upasana or any other upasana. They don't even respect bhakti, karma, upasana, because they have understood a higher knowledge. This is a contradiction actually. You know, Bhagavan Sri Shankara installed Sri Yantra in various temples from Kanyakumari to Himachal Pradesh. People used to say about the name and fame of Tirupati Balaji temple, Venkatachalapati temple, only because of the Sri Chakra installed by Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya. And Mukambika is also one of the famous temple where Bhagavan Shankaracharya installed Sri Yantra. Bhagavan Shankaracharya is Sakshat Ishvara Avatara and a great realized soul of Vedanta Jnana, who has interpreted Dashopanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Bhashyam, and Brahma Sutra Bhashyam. So, he is the greatest Jnani, but he worshipped Sri Yantra. He respected Sri Yantra. And some of the Vedanta people went, when I was discussing about this, some of the Vedanta people went to a great extent and said, that is not this Shankaracharya. That is different Shankaracharya, they started telling. There were many Shankaracharyas and one Shankaracharya wrote Saundarya Lagari. They go to that extent. But the truth is, Sri Vidya Upasana is a stepping stone for Vedanta realization. I am blessed in that way because I spent my 25 years as a Upasaka, Sri Vidya Upasaka. Later, recently, before 5 years, I entered into Vedanta Sampradaya Ashrama with the blessings of Pujya Swamiji. So this is a transformation from Upasana Marga to Jnana Marga. Here we should understand one thing. Some people think that bhakti, karma, yoga are less and jnana is great. Without bhakti, yoga, karma, yogas, bhakti, karma, dhyana yogas, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, dhyana yoga, jnana yoga cannot be achieved directly. So these are stepping stones. We should begin with bhakti. Total duality. I am totally different from Ishvara. Ishvara is great creator, protector, and destroyer. I am an ordinary jiva who depends upon the grace of Ishvara for my survival. This is the understanding of Bhakta. He has to pray Ishvara for boons, even for the regular food, and whatever may be the day-to-day requirements, he depends upon Ishvara. For everything he prays. Whatever he deserves for, whatever he doesn't deserve for. He depends upon Ishvara. Then there comes Karma Yoga. In Karma Yoga, he dedicates the Karma Phala. The Karma Phalam is dedicated to Ishvara. Whatever the result, whatever the Phalam given by Ishvara, he accepts as the Prasada. he understands that I have no authority towards the result of karma. I am ordained to do only the karma, and the results are not in my hand. Here also the Dvaita Bhakti is there. He tries to lose the kartrutvam. I am not the doer. Ishvara is the doer. So he superimposes the kartrutvam to Jiva state to Ishvara state. And in Dhyana Yoga, Raja Yoga, he meditates upon Ishvara within. So far he was looking for Ishvara outwardly. Now in Dhyana Yoga, he looks for Ishvara within. He closed nearer. Previously, he was in Sharya Marga. Then he enters into Kriya Marga. Then he enters into Yoga Marga. Finally, now he meditates within. So he understands that Ishvara need not be searched in Himalayas. He is within my heart. So this is the third stage. And these three stages are very, very important. We have to respect them. What we object is, if a bhakta or a karma yogi or a dhyana yogi, raja yogi thinks that this karma, bhakti and raja yoga will give jnanam, if he thinks like that, that is wrong. It will not give jnanam directly. It can act as a means for knowledge. This is a step for knowledge. So this is the difference. This point has been misunderstood by some of the Vedanta people. They think that these are waste. We need not go to temple because we think that Aham Brahmasmi. We know Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, we know. Why we should go and worship outwardly? If Shankara would have thought like this, he will never build temples, he will never install Sri Yantra in famous temples. Even after becoming Jivan Mukta, the Jivan Mukta respects temple worship. The Jivan Mukta respects Karma Yogi. The Jivan Mukta should respect a Raja Yogi. He need not do all these things. There is no need for him to do puja or karma or dhyana. There is no need for him. He can simply sit with contemplation. He should also meditate, but his meditation is contemplative meditation. What is the difference? Why we show difference between first three sets of yoga and Jnana Yoga? Why? What is the reason? The reason is ahankara. For Bhakti Yoga, the base is ahankara. For Karma Yoga, the base is ahankara. For Raja Yoga, the base is ahankara in the edge of samsara. What is samsara? Samsara means a life of ragadvesha, life of becoming. I don't accept what I am. I want to become something else, somebody else. This is samsara. In Tamil understanding and South Indian understanding, I hope, samsara means wife. So leave samsara means not leave wife. You should not misunderstand like that. Samsaraha or samsaram is a Sanskrita padam which indicates the worldly life, material life, grihastha dharma, all these are samsara. What is the base for this samsara? Ignorance. Avidya is the base for samsara. If you have proper understanding of Vedanta, avidya is samsara karanam. How to remove it? We know Brahman, the pure consciousness. Ishvara obtains the status of reflected consciousness because of his sambandha, relationship with Maya, which is not there. Maya means yama, which is not there, but seems to be there. Because he obtains the Maya Sahita Ishvara status, it is said as reflected consciousness. And Jiva is also a reflected consciousness. There Maya plays the role of avidya. Avidya is the term used for individual ignorance. Maya is the term used for collective ignorance. The collective ignorance of the universe, of the prapancha, of the jagat, is called Maya, and the individual ignorance of the jiva is called avidya. So avidya samsarasya karanam. Then which will be the moksha karanam? The moksha karanam is jnanam. Only jnanam can give moksha karanam, moksha. So in bhakti yoga, karma yoga, raja yoga, ahankara never leaves. It is suppressed, controlled, limited. And jnana is not based on ahankara. When ahankara is understood as ahankara, then only jnana begins. Jnana is not a long process, day by day, 100 days, 120 days, not like that. Jnana can happen fraction of second. Like Vasishta, when initiated Sri Ramachandra Murti, it was not a 3 years course or 5 years course or short-term course or weekend course. The Vasishta initiated Sri Rama within a second. As the avatar Purusha, Rama realized within a second. Even for us, Aksharabhyasam takes months together, and Ramaha Ramo Ramaha takes years together, and Padavicheta, Sandhi, all those rules, Samasa, Sandhi, takes years together to understand. But for Sri Rama, it took a fraction of a second to understand Aham Brahmasmi. because he is Ishvara, Ishvara Avatara, Purna Avatara. So Ahankara is not the base for Jnanam, Jnana Yoga. It is not reduction of Ahankara. It is not suppress of Ahankara. It is understanding of Ahankara. As we understand Ishvara, we used to say always, Ishvara is not a concept, not an energy. These are all some modern gurus' explanations. Ishvara is not energy. Ishvara is not a concept. Then what is Ishvara? Reflected consciousness. All these terms, while we discuss, many times we will come to understand, and through Shastra Pata only it will come to our clear understanding. We are going to study. So Ahankara is not the base for Jnana Marga, it is understanding of Ahankara. Ahankara means I don't mean that I am a great person. That Ahankara, what we have understood, I don't mean that. What is the base for that I am a great person? I think I am the body, mind, sense complex. I means my social respect. I means how many likes I get in my Facebook. I means how many friends I have in my WhatsApp. I means how many friends I have. I means what is my bank balance. Not all these things. I am pure consciousness is the first understanding to begin the path of Jnana. And if I use the path, you will understand that as in Jnana path, we have to walk long way. Maybe 48 kilometers. No. It is called as Pantha. Bhagavan Shankara says, Na Anya Pantha, no other way. Other than knowledge, no Anya Pantha. But it is a path without journey. There is no journey at all. That is the greatness of this Jnanam. As soon as you know something, as you understand something, then it becomes clear, clarity. That clarity comes only through Guru. Some people asked me recently, without Guru, can we do sadhana? Why do you deny the purpose of Guru? But we are blessed. In 2020, we are having thousands and thousands of Gurus on your fingertip, on your mobile phone. Online Gurus are coming. Come, attend my class. We are all inviting you. No fees, free of cost. Come and attend. People are inviting. Why do you deny Guru? Listen to the words of Guru. Only thing we expect from you is patience. Shraddha. Guru Vakyeshu, Vedanta Vakyeshu Shraddha. First of all, you agree that, accept that. This is a Vedanta Vakya, you know. When you say this is a Vedanta Vakya and comes through a proper Sampradaya Guru, it has weightage. It will do some process. When you are not able to understand the difference between the Sampradaya teaching and non-Sampradaya teaching, then will be in a problem. We listen to some people who start speaking in Advaita and ending up with Dvaita. Very difficult. You can start with Dvaita, but where you should end up? Advaita. So now we have understood the importance of jnana and the value of bhakti, karma and dhyana. Dhyana here is upasana. Upasana is the advanced level of bhakti. And I showed you 32 varieties of upasana and 14 important upasanas, and the upasana which is not at all emphasized is Sri Vidya. This Sri Vidya upasana is not much emphasized, but in Shastra, in Vedas, Bhagavan Bhaskaracharya mentions this is Vedic. In previous classes also, I explained some quotes from Varivasya Rahasya, which confirms the reference of 14 Vidyas and the Veda Sara, essence of Veda as Gayatri Mantra, and Bhagavan Bhaskaraya says Gayatri has two rupas. One Gayatri is the regular Gayatri which we chant Om Bhur Swaha, and the second rupa is Sri Vidyakyam Dvitiyam Rupam. Sri Vidyakyam Dvitiyam Rupam. Bhagavan says Tasyaha Rupa Dvitiyam. Sri Vidya is the Dvitiya Rupam of Gayatri, which is powerful. And if you chant one Sri Vidya mantra, it is equivalent to chanting 3 Bhurbhuvasva Gayatri. And Veda also, what is Veda? Veda is Apaurushayam, you know. Veda comes from Ishvara. One may think that when do Ishvara chant Vedas? Always we listen this. Vedas are Apaurushayam. When did he chant first time? It is not like that. Ishvara is ever chanting Vedas. Because Vedas are the swasam, the breath of Ishvara, the breath of Ishvara. Ishvarasya swasam Vedam. So in the 8th shloka, in Varivasya Rahasyam, I have sent the text. I hope you will be able to refer once I tell the shloka number and references. Not now, just note it, and later after the class you can verify this mantra. In Pratama Amshaha, Kamo Yonihi Kamalet Yeva Sanketitaihi Shabdaihi. Vyavaharati na tu prakatam yam vidyam Veda Purushobihi. Veda Purushaha api. Veda Purushopi is Veda Purushaha api. Kamaha Yonihi Kamala iti Sanketitaihi Shabdaihi. Iti Sanketitaihi Shabdaihi means indirect words. Shloka number 8, Varivasya Rahasya. Yam Vidyam Veda Purushaha Api. Veda Purusha also speaks about Vyavaharati Sri Vidya. Natu Prakatam. Natu Prakatam. Natu Prakatam means there is no Prakatanam. Veda Purusha never speaks about Sri Vidya openly. Natu Prakatam. Then how does he mention about, how does Ishvara mention about Sri Vidya in Vedas? By way of secret Shabdas. Sanketitaihi Shabdaihi. What are those Shabdas? Kamaha, Yonihi, Kamala iti. 3 Shabdas. Bhaskar Raya refers, there may be a lot of hidden Shabdas. Even in Brihadharanya Upanishad, there is one hidden Shabda which Acharyas will not explain. They will say this has come for Chandasa, for poetic equivalence, poetic balance it has come, they will say. But it is the secret of Sri Vidya. It is the secret of Sri Vidya. Natu Prakata. They have not told openly. So Sri Vidya is indicated by Vedas. 8th shloka, Varivasya Rahyam, please read. Rest, time to time I will refer various shlokas. Keep the book ready or take print out and keep it. These are all not told openly because this Sri Vidya Upasana is a secret Upasana. In those days, people will never declare that I am a Sri Vidya Upasaka. I will tell you why all those things happened in the history. They will pretend to be Shaivites and outwardly Shaivites, inwardly Shaktas, and doing Sri Vidya Upasana. When the Kali Yuga started, the purity of Sri Vidya started contaminated. For Sri Vidya Upasana, we need purity, purity, purity. Bahya Shaucham, Antar Shaucham. Outward cleanliness, inner cleanliness. The mind of the Upasaka should be like a child. For that only lot of tests are there. If you are able to cross the first 100 epithets of Lalita Sahasranama, then you will be able to get the blessing to chant the total Lalita Sahasranama. But many people cannot cross within the first 100 Shabdas if they understand the meaning. If they don't understand the meaning, they can chant 1,000 Shabdas. If they start to do research on those meanings, then they will get stuck. Or they may be diverted because of illusions created. Who creates the illusion? Maya. Now, why Sri Vidya is told great? Sri Vidya is told great because of its Saguna Upasana nature and Nirguna Upasana nature. It suits well as Paravidya and Aparavidya. That is the greatness of this Upasana, which was kept secret of secrets. Even Veda Purusha hesitates to explain Sri Vidya openly. So Sri Vidya is that much secret, secret of secret. It is truth of truth. As Brihadaranya Upanishad says about Brahman, Satyasya Satyam, truth of truth. So that much great subject is this Upasana. Now you know the value of Sri Vidya Upasana. It is because of Saguna, which is useful for the karma, and also Nirguna, which is useful for taking you up to Jnanam. Saguna Upasana is for karma, and Nirguna Upasana is for Jnanam. Both are told in Lalita Sahasranama. What a wonderful thing we have. This is the one and the only Sahasranama which has both sides. And both are given importance. Kaulachara is a left side marga, in which very serious methods of external worships are given importance. What we follow is Vedanta Purva, Advaita Purva, Samayachara Sri Vidya Marga. Advaita Vedanta Purva Sri Vidya Samayachara Marga is followed by us. If anybody is asking you, what are you attending every day online, something called Vidya, what kind of Vidya it is? You should tell them that it is Advaita Vedanta Purva Samayachara Sri Vidya Margam. You can, if you want, you can say this. Don't say something Swamiji is telling, I am listening. This is your identity. You can tell with courage. Immediately they will ask, can I join the class? You can say you can join in the next batch because admission is closed. For teaching also I should have ahankara. The guru is also with ahankara. If I don't have ahankara, I cannot teach online class. As I told you, my devices are getting advanced and advanced. Previously, I started with my mobile phone. Then I was blessed to have a laptop, old laptop. Then I purchased a new laptop with more features. And now my studio is getting ready with 65 inches TV. What is this? Samsara. What I am doing is samsara in the name of teaching. Then lot of bhaktas are created, lot of devotees are created, followers are created. I used to tell here and after next batch and all, I will not teach Sri Vidya, I will not teach Vedanta, I will be in silence. This thought of solitude is there for me for about 30 years. Vacation never came in my life. It may come in future. Why I am telling, this is also a samsara. Starting a Gurukula, conducting a long-term course, short-term course, getting Shishyas, and controversy with Shishyas. Either the Guru may get angry towards Shishya or Shishya may criticize the Guru. Samsara, biggest samsara. So, once the realization comes, as Atma Bodha says, like the soap which cleans the cloth, this knowledge will also get dissolved in water. Kataka Renuvatu, he says, the soap. You are washing the cloth with the soap. After some time, the soap is vanished. cloth is purified. Like that, Sishyas are purified, Guru will vanish. Gurutvam will vanish. And now today's lesson will be shared. And please wait for a minute. I'm sorry. We have a lot of tasks. I think I have already sent the document. To you. Not ready. Sri Chakra Navavarana Puja Part 1, Lesson 1. I hope you will be having in digital form. It is good to take a printout. I hope you all can see. First, proofreading. Mandira Praveshaha. Mandira Praveshaha is there in English. In Sanskrit, it is right. Mandira Praveshaha. I will correct it and send it again. Samayachara Shri Vidya Upasana Krama Sri Chakra Lagu Navavarana Puja. What we are going to study? We are going to study a Sri Chakra Lagu Navavarana Puja. First of all, we will understand what is called Navavarana. We were discussing about Maya Shakti, which is the reason for the Srishti Sthiti Samhara, creation, protection, destruction, is activated by Maya with the support of Ishvara, with the backing of Ishvara. Without Ishvara, Maya cannot do anything. Maya depends upon Ishvara. Ishvara never depends upon Maya. So Maya does this it is always good to have the right text. Correction is made now. Mandira Pravesha. Yes. I was telling you about Maya, Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti has two Shakti. One Shakti is called Vikshepa Shakti. Another Shakti is called Avarana Shakti. In Rajju Sarpa Udaranaha, snake rope Udarana, which I have told already, I am not elaborating much. In the less light, the rope is seen as a snake by the seer. When light comes, he realizes that it is not snake, it is rope only. The rope is hidden. That is Avarana. Hiding is Avarana. And the rope is manipulated as snake is Vikshepa. So Avarana Vikshepa Shakti of Maya. Maya creates this illusion and it has two actions. One is Maya has to hide the rope first. Then she has to project a snake. Hiding is Avaranam. Avaranam. A screen, a hindrance, a sheath. Avaranam. And Vikshepa is projection as something. Pujya Swamiji used to like a shloka from Tirumandiram in Tamil. Marathai maraitadu mamada yanai. Marathin maraindadu mamada yanai. Parathai maraitadu parmudal bhutam. Parathin maraindadu parmudal bhutam. When I see the elephant, I don't see wood in it because it is a wood elephant made out of wood. I see a wood elephant, an elephant idol made out of wood. Same size to a big elephant. If you come to Coimbatore airport, you can see really there are 2-3 models of great elephants. Exactly looks like Kerala elephants, Guruvayur elephants. Children will get afraid. When we see that is elephant, we don't see the material out of which they are made. Like that, when we see the Panchabhutas made Prapancha, we don't see the Param Brahman. That is the meaning of that shloka. So in that way, when you see the external world, you don't see Ishvara. That is Avaranam. And in Sri Vidya Sampradaya, the Avarana is divided into 9 types of Avarana. Time to time, I will explain what are those 9 Avaranas. In Vedanta, it is only one Avarana, but in Upasana, there are 9 kinds of Avarana. Avarana is one only. It can act in 9 ways, so that they have classified it as 9 Avarana, Nava Avarana. For that, to remove Avarana, the first action of Maya Shakti, with the great blessing of Sri Lalita Maha Tripura Sundari and the Guru Mandala Gurus, we are entering into Navavarna Puja. In that, what we are taking in this class is Laghu Navavarna Puja. In Sri Yantra, you can see the 9 steps. In Sri Yantra, you can see 9 steps. Those 9 levels are called Avarana. The first Avarana is called Trailokya Mohana Chakra. What is the first Avarana? Trailokya Mohana Chakra, which consists of these squares and circles. For your understanding, the square is space, Akasha. The 3 circles are Kala. Bhuta Kala, Vartamana Kala, Bhavishya Kala. Past tense, present tense, and future tense. Past, present, future Kalas. So these are all given as concentric circles. 3 circles, you know, 3 concentric circles. So the space and Kala are related each other. Time is a relative truth because it depends upon space. Time is a relative truth which depends upon space. So we will discuss more about this in view of time. I would like to explain that this square part and circle part are called Trilokya Mohana Chakra, three lokas, Bhur Bhuva Swaha. The second chakra, 16 petals is Sarvasa Paripuraka Chakra. Sarvasa Paripuraka Chakra. The third 8 petals, you see, 8 petals, Sarva Samkshobhana Chakra. Sarva Samkshobhana Chakra. I will explain what is Sarva Samkshobhanam and all. Now you just note it down. Then the fourth stage is 14 triangles. These 14 triangles mean the upper 7 lokas and the lower 7 lokas. 14 lokas. And the next 10 outer triangles, the fifth level is Sarvartha Sadhaka Chakra. And the sixth level, inner 10 triangles is called Sarva Rakshakara Chakra. And the eighth triangle is called Sarva Rogahara Chakra, which cures all diseases, physical diseases, mental diseases, and also the disease of birth and death. And the innermost triangle is called Sarva Siddhiprada Chakra. The innermost triangle is called Sarva Siddhiprada Chakra, and the Bindu inside is called Sarvanandamaya Chakra. This reference I have sent you, and more notes will come to you, but part by part only we will send the notes. Now, you can see in writing, Trilokya Mohana Chakra, the square and the circle, Sarvasa Paripuraka Chakra, 16 petals, Sarva Samkshobhana Chakra, 8 petals, Sarva Saubhagyadayaka Chakra, 14 triangles, Sarvartha Sadhaka Chakra, outer 10 triangles, Sarva Rakshakara Chakra, inner 10 triangles, Sarva Rogahara Chakra, 8 triangles, Sarva Siddhiprada Chakra, innermost 1 triangle, and Sarvanandamaya Chakra, the Bindu alone. Mandira Praveshaha. What is Mandira Praveshaha? We are going to enter into the Sri Chakra. These 4 sides are called entry gates. These 4 sides are called entry gates. In Sanskritam, Amnayam, Chaturam Nayam, East gate, West gate, North gate, South gate. To enter into Sri Yantra Mandala, 4 pathways are there. So, Mandira Praveshaha means entering into the Sri Chakra. Mandira means the temple of Sri Yantra. Mandiram is temple, not Tamil Mandiram. Tamil Mandiram is mantra. Mantra is different. The sacred syllable is called mantra. The temple is called mantra. Mandiram. Yes. While you are entering towards the Sri Chakra, you will be entering through East gate. So we pray right side of our entry gate. Om, Aim, Hreem, Shreem, Bhadrakali Namaha. Because Devi in the form of Bhadrakali, Bhadra means auspicious, Mangalam. It can also be called as Mangala Kali. Bhadrakali means one who gives auspiciousness. What is auspiciousness? Jnanam is auspiciousness. Mukti is auspiciousness. Bhadrakalyai namaha. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Bhadrakalyai namaha. Already I have taught you what is Aim, what is Hrim, what is Shrim. So there is no need for me to remind you now what is those three aksharas. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Bhadrakalyai namaha. You have to worship with flowers the right hand side of the entry gate. To your left side of the entrance, Om Aim Hrim Shrim Bhairavyai namaha. Put some flowers. And mentally now you are, not physically, mentally you are entering into the mandala. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Lambodharaya Namaha to the top. Lambodharaya Namaha. I repeat. To your right side, Om Aim Hrim Shrim Bhadrakalyai Namaha. Left side, Om Aim Hrim Shrim Bhairavyai Namaha. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Lambodharaya Namaha. Ganesha. Lambodharaya Namaha. These three deities are protecting the eastern Amnaya. And next, in next class, this lesson will be continued. And now, the same thing, what we are doing as puja is external. What is the another duty you have? You have to bring it within. So this is called upasana, and what we do inwardly is called dhyana. Dhyana also can be translated as upasana. But what we do as puja is external puja. What we do as internal is dhyanam. So now we have started studying Sri Vidya Upasana. In forthcoming classes, we will do Sri Vidya Dhyanam. You should understand the difference between two. Upasana includes dhyana. The word upasana includes dhyana. That is why dhyanam sindura runa vigraham trinayanam manikam holishparat taranayaka shikaram smitamukim api navakshoruham panibhyam alipurna ratna chashakam raktotpalam vipradim saumyam ratna kadastha rakta charanam dhyayet param ambikam. It's not chanting. When you are chanting, it becomes the kriya. While chanting, what is Sindura Runa Vigraham? If you are visualizing within, that is Dhyanam. People used to say Dhyanam, Sindura Runa Vigraham, Trinayanam, Manikam. Mechanically they will chant. It is a kriya, karma. When you do it inwardly, it becomes Dhyanam. So, Om Aim Hrim Shrim Bhadrakalyai Namaha. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Bhairavyai Namaha. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Lambodharaya Namaha. If you do this, you will see a triangle, kona, trikona, which is all about Sri Vidya. Not only Sri Vidya, it refers Brahma Sutra also. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha. Punarmilamaha.